I mean, it's what I do every day. I think, and I mean this seriously to everybody's out there, those first couple months of the pandemic, if I hadn't had my garage gym, I literally wouldn't have made it. It was the only thing that kept me happy, and some days the only thing that kept me alive. I did get stacked in the morning, and I would go to work, and I would come home, and I would do either dumbbell shred or Corey's extra arms with the bands that he was programming, because people didn't have anything, and like I was training twice a day, and that's when I started my first real lunge streak. Was the end of March of 2020, because I signed up for I1Abs 2020 for the first time and was doing really well, and then the pandemic happened, and I mean, we'll tell those stories for the rest of our lives and careers, what that was like. And like, well, like Zach said, priorities, like this is not it right now. We got to figure out what we're doing at work and how to stay safe. And I don't want this to be a COVID thing. Obviously I have some opinions on that, but it was the only, and I was just disappointed with the I1Abs, and I started a streak, and that was my first 1 year streak. The next year I got to 442. And Zach hates it when I say this, but for the right reasons, he convinced me to stop the streak. He's like, I think you're not progressing and plateauing because you're just doing too much.
Sure.
And I think we just need, if you're okay with it. And of course, I remember that night at 11 o'clock laying there, I was like, maybe I should just get up and go lunge.
I knew you
and then the next morning, I'm like, well, it's over. And then we scaled things back, and you built me back up, and that was
you're lunging again.
June, and then October, I think I started again when I was at a conference. I was like, I need to do something, right? The gym here sucks, and I'm just going to start lunging. And like, okay. So I mapped out 400 meters outside on the sidewalk. And then that streak ended at 204 a year ago, May, when I got COVID. And I try hard to live without regrets, but that was one of those, like, I'd already done my training that morning. That's how I knew I had COVID. I couldn't deadlift 135, and I couldn't front squat 95. And like, I actually was relieved that my test was positive, because otherwise something terrible happened. And then like, I should have just gone and lunged, right? I was up, I'd already had my pre-workout, and I just laid there for 4 hours, not sleeping with COVID. And then I was like, shit, streak's over. So I started one the next Monday. I happened to test positive on a Monday. Yep. And that year was just last week. Today was day 376. Mm-hmm. And I had 144 days of 800 meters in there. But we ended that, I think, in February with the bodybuilding volume. It's like my knees were, I'd never had knee problems with you. And it's like,
we dialed it back.
With the high bar and the front squat volume plus all the accessory work, is just like, it was just too much. Yeah. So I said, I'm not getting up the streak, staying at 400. I will lunge tomorrow after the show. After lunch.
Listen, I love lunging. I should, say I've learned everything from Corey, and he's been a mentor. But I've coached enough guys who've lunged enough, and you have to ask yourself, is this self-serving?
Yep.
Am I doing this for the discipline? Then I would say keep lunging.
Yep.
If you're having physical issues and you're going to keep lunging, and ours happened to be, we were doing 800. Mike was doing a lot more volume-based training now for specifically bodybuilding. Mike, once again, had never done bodybuilding-specific training, so I thought it was important to focus a lot on hypertrophy, right? The more volume led to a little more knee discomfort, so we brought it back to 400, and that's fine. And you can get to a point where 400 is manageable.
We probably should have done it 2 weeks before then. It's like, my knees aren't recovering. It's like, I don't want to get into the Advil cycle again. I've done that road. That's why I had elbow surgery, because I didn't know what I was doing. And the doctor that just keeps doctoring it, and so
it's this conversation you just have to have. Like, health is our current response to our environment, right?
Yep.
And we have to ask ourselves, like, is this repetitive thing actually making me better?
Yeah.
If it's a discipline thing, then let's keep it, right?
Yeah.
But if it's not self-serving, right? The thing Anthony Oliveira says this, and it's so true. The things that got you strong once probably aren't going to get you.
Yeah.
To that next level, right? You can't keep doing the same things. Your training needs to evolve a little bit. And listen, at the end of the day, like, the extra volume is going to help. I think you can build up to a point where, hey, my body can handle X, Y, Z. I can do this consistently, and that's fine. But
Corey's taking breaks, for either health reasons or just what his focus is.
Yeah, my job as a coach is help someone navigate the training they like and also staying safe.
Yeah,
that's the conversation you and I had.
I love it that I follow the rules. Knee got to touch or it don't count.
Yeah.
Wear my volleyball knee
Jake would-
pads, and I listen to stuff, and I missed that when I stopped. I missed that 15 minutes, and my times aren't great, compared to some of the guys on the site. I think I've broken 10 minutes once for 400, and I was dead the next day.
Cooking.
Yeah. But most days I'm, right now, the last couple weeks I've been going slower intentionally. Just, I want to keep doing it to keep the streak going. It's kind of part of our program, leg volume. But I didn't want to give it up. But yeah, I think, starting next week, I'll start pushing it, get back to 10 minutes.
Man, I fucking love lunging. Every time I start to want to lean out, I start to lunge again.
Yeah.
I think honestly, some of my apprehension to like doing it forever, I guess, is I played soccer for 20 years of my life, and I ran like. Listen, I get my cardio and focus on my heart health in a lot of ways I enjoy. Like, here's something I've been learning. I've been walking a lot more recently.
I have enjoyed the
walks, something I
bodybuilding
enjoyed
walking.
doing with Audrey on our lunches, and Corey's been doing it a lot more. And here's the truth, man. I think for powerlifters too, lunging a few times a week is probably a great thing. But if you're having knee, hip issues, maybe you need to pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
Do 100 meters a day. That's fine.
Yeah, well, that's what Anthony, he does 100 steps.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And he said it's made the world of difference in his lifts.
Whatever's gonna be self-serving to you,
Yeah.
but just don't torture yourself just to say I'm doing something.
Yeah, but the audiobooks, it's real. I mean, what you can get, 1.5 speed, right? Slow it down if it's really something, whether it's podcasts, audiobooks, my emergency medicine, monthly stuff that I listen to, it's a lot. And then I can listen to music when I drive.
Yeah, the self-education, the lunge and learn, the learning aspect of it is so powerful, right?
Right.
I mean, I think that's where really the big benefit comes
Yeah,
from.
I'd never, prior to, it wasn't even 2 years ago, I'd never listened to an audiobook in my life other than like some comedy audiobooks.
I can't
on
read, so
vacation.
they're perfect. So
Oh, well, I love to read. But I pick my books that I want to listen to, and I pick the books that I read. I read every night for at least an hour.
Yeah.
Whatever. Plowing my way through Washington right now.
Okay.
Ron Chernow's book.
I'm like the worst reader in the
Yeah.
world, so.
But yeah, I have a whole spreadsheet. Zach knows I'm a spreadsheet guy.
You should see our Google sheet.
I heard it on
It's
a
like,
podcast.
I want to know how many gigs this thing takes up.
Yeah, week 99.
It's intense.
All
but-
the colors.
But I'm excited. Here's the truth. Mike and I have 100 weeks basically of programming.
Yep.
I feel like I'm very lucky as a coach to have like clients that have been with me so early on, and they've seen my growth. I've seen a lot of their growth, and we have so much content behind like programming. So I feel really strongly about my ability to get someone stronger. And really most importantly, just get someone to get uncomfortable. So I think that's really what Mike's story should be, is just doing so much and just being able to get uncomfortable.
Trust
still.
the process. People at work, the last couple weeks, like, what are you eating? It's like what my coach tells me. And, we had spreadsheets for nutrition because we needed to keep it straight. And then it was, send me pics, how you feeling, how you looking. And obviously, I'm not saying I didn't have doubts, but I'd never done this before. All I've read is Arnold's Bible and, some online articles. I'm like, oh my God, there's just so much out there. Well, just, I'm trusting Zach for a reason. He's got his pro card. He's an elite total power lifter. He obviously knows what he's doing. Look at him. And then like going into this week, for peak week, like the curves go like this, like the carbs goes up and the water and the salt goes down. And like every day is like, I can't believe I'm eating this much, and the scale's down each day.
Yeah, Mike's
and
lost
it worked.
weight
And
this week.
when you're actually dialed in and you know how you feel, I understand the physiology of manipulating the carbohydrates and the water and the salt. I get all that, but to actually see and feel it work, Wednesday morning was probably the lowest. I was like, I worked Wednesday morning at 7, so I trained at 3:30, worked at 7 a.m. And I was like, I just need to make it to Wednesday lunch. And then
You got there. I told you that would be the
yeah,
last
no,
tough day.
I snapped at one of the nurses for something stupid. And it was just like, I just said, today's not the day. And she's like, I say, today's not the day.
today.
It's
Yeah.
like, just let me get to 11 o'clock halfway through the shift. And then I ate. And then, yesterday was like, oh my God, the sweet potatoes and the bananas. And
Yeah,
then today,
a lot of
the
carbs.
sweet potatoes and the rice and the Chipotle for dinner. And then tomorrow, and just, yeah, I got plans for the rest of the weekend. I'm going to enjoy it. But the weird thing is, I think that's the other thing the pandemic did. The cafeteria was closed at work, and, my standard healthy lunch of a chicken sandwich and fries, which is better than some, I guess, but not great. that coincided with starting meal prepping. I'd never meal prepped in my life. And, you know, I make food every 3 to 4 days, and I'm not going to change that now. I mean, whether it's beef or chicken, whether it's the mixed veggies or the sweet potatoes, the nuts and the avocados. I mean, I really do follow Corey's anabolic fasting with the twists that I need for what I'm doing and what my goals are that Zach tells me.
Yeah.
But it's so easy with my weird schedule to just move meals by 4 to 6 hours. Overnights are tough. Thankfully, you know, it's only about once a month that I have to do an overnight anymore. But yeah, it's just so easy, and people just know that I sit there with, I set out my little thing and I send Zach my picture, and it's got my meat and my veggies and my nuts in the middle.
I get a couple pictures a day. Mike is at the hospital with his Tupperware, so fuck your excuse.
Yep.
He's
Sometimes with
getting
an
it
EKG in the background.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, really, if you prepare, you're okay. Mike's
Yeah.
doing it all and making it work.
There are days it takes me an hour to eat lunch some days. You know, and I've gotten used to eating cold beef and, you know, cold veggies or sweet potatoes because you can't just keep warming them up. But I think that's the other thing is that in the old days, not that long ago, it was like, nope, I can't eat. I got more patients, got to see more patients. Like, you know what? It's okay to take 10 minutes to eat. And I tried to model that to our residents, you know, while at the same time, right, you know, something happens, right? We get that. But, you know, that patient's stable. Please go to the cafeteria. Get something.
It's important, right?
Yeah. In my first job, you know, brand new grad, the nurses would kind of joke with my wife. He's like, you know, you need to start sending Dr. McRae with food because otherwise he's like a toddler and one of us has to feed him. Because I wouldn't eat. I would work a 10, 12-hour shift. And I wouldn't eat. He's like, oh, I got to see the next patient.
No way now with how you're training.
Oh, God, no. They wouldn't let me do that. I'd crash.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to eat. So, I mean, thankfully I work 8-hour shifts. When I work 12s, it's a little tough at one of our satellite places. And then I bring 2 lunch boxes. Because otherwise I'm hitting something on the way home that isn't consistent with my goals.
Yep. I love it. Just got to prepare. That's all.
Yeah, and it's You know, I go.
That's what made the bodybuilding prep. I would say, listen, man. All things considered, I feel like you handled it very well.
I still reserve the right to freak out tomorrow morning.
Yes.
But yes, I think, you know, I had 2 conferences in there that
yeah, Mike traveled for work twice.
Yeah, to
during
Vegas.
our 24-week prep.
Yeah, Vegas, baby. Woo!
Yeah.
Vegas was good, but what did I do? I went to the grocery store and I
Yes.
bought food. And like, all right, this
Made
is
it
the
work.
plan. You know, one meal, lunch was, you know, out of my backpack was lunch meat, you know, a lot of salt, but at least it's protein. It was either that or jerky, and veggies, you know, carrots, and then nuts. And then dinner was what I told my friends and partners. I was like, we need to go to a steakhouse every night or somewhere that I can get meat and potatoes or something. And then, you know, drinks were, I guess that's the other thing. I'm lucky that I can have drinks and still train the next day, and you know I hydrate and
Irish.
Yeah, exactly. Get that liver. You know, and we had a good time in Vegas, and I came back the same weight.
Yeah, you're fine.
And
You're fine.
then
How many weeks out was that again? Vegas.
8.
8.
And then
Pretty
I was in DC,
DC about a month out.
3.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that was, I got there, I went to the grocery store.
Yeah, you crushed it in DC. Man.
You know, it takes a long time to cook a sweet potato in a hotel microwave. But I did. I took silverware, I took seasoning, I bought butter, and then I was good. And like I missed out on some stuff that, you know, I won't get, you know, that I should have been at. But it's like, I can't do this. I can't go, or like, you're really not coming out with us tonight. It's like, I'm not. I'll see you in the lobby.
Your actions
and then
align
I'm done.
with your goals, Mike.
And, you know, and this isn't a humble brag, but to hear people say, you know, that was really impressive. I was like, well, I'm 3 weeks out from a bodybuilding show, getting on stage in a Speedo. It's not worth it.
You think a little bit of it, Mike, too, is like you kind of. Once again, the cool thing is all your peers know about this, man.
Oh
like,
yeah, they
I feel like when you
ask
put
me
it
all the time.
when you put it out there,
Yeah.
too, you're like, okay, they're looking at my actions, and you know the pressure's on a little bit, right? Like it obviously should be self-serving, but you know having everyone know,
is.
you're like, all right, this is how I'm going to show up. This is the man I am. This
Yeah.
is what I'm doing.
A year ago in DC, it's a conference every May. One of my good friends from Texas came up to me. She's like, "Did I just see you lifted 1,000 pounds?" I'm like, "Well, no, it was like 950." She's like, "Jesus, Mike."
You're like,
and she's like, "That was like last week." I was
you're
like, "Yeah,
blowing
that was
people's
last
minds,
weekend."
man.
I got a friend that, you know, hit me up. He's like, "So this lunging thing." He's in California,
Yeah.
and we're a couple weeks ago.
That's
We're
cool.
standing there, you know, at a party. I'm got my Coke or whatever and iced tea, and He's like, this motherfucker's got me lunging 400 meters. They're like, how's it feel? I was like, it's amazing.
I love it.
And I'm like, you're welcome, buddy.
It's
And
contagious.
yeah, and it just, yeah, it's what I do. I think people know that's who I am. It's not just a show. I don't know. I mean, I know how I felt 6 years ago when I had elbow surgery, and you know, I couldn't lift and I couldn't play golf for 6 months. I didn't
Mike's
have
a
somebody
golfer.
like,
Mike's a golfer.
yeah, I enjoy playing golf. I'm not a very good golfer. I used to be better. I can't golf and power lift in the same day. That's the problem.
Sure.
I don't have that much time, but I know how miserable I was. That was the year I started running with my best friend. She got me into running, and I did a bunch of races, and then I trained for a half marathon, and I did a sprint triathlon because I with my job, I need it. I can't function, or my wife would leave me because no one wants to be with me if I can't get that out.
You gotta get that demon
and then
out.
yeah, so I did that was April of 2018. Did my first and last half marathon. I trained for the Glass City half, and I did it pretty much by myself because the running groups drove me crazy. I don't need a group to hold me accountable, and I couldn't stand. I'm just not that person that can run with people I don't know. And it's like I don't need people to show up on a Saturday morning to run whatever the schedule says.
Mike pretty much 99% of the time trains alone in his garage.
Oh,
at
99.9,
sometimes
yeah.
4:30 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So he gets it done.
Yeah, the rule is I train before my shift. So if
Yep.
I work at 7 a.m., I get up I start at 3:30. If I work in the afternoon, I train in the afternoon, or I'll train early and then take a nap. And when I work an overnight, I start training at about 8. And if nothing else, the pre-workout gets you through the overnight with minimal extra caffeine.
Yeah.
But that's just the rule. I train before my shifts, and on my off days, like Zach and the guys in the 4 a.m. crew, I train early. It's out of my it's my time.
Yep.
Nobody can take it from me. Back when I was involved with residency leadership, it would drive me crazy if I trained later in the day because there was stuff that needed to be done. Texts.
Yep.
Text from residents, text from people in the office, text from other faculty, and it's like that was, you know, like Corey says all the time, like, it's my time. 4 o'clock is my time, and go to bed, you know, and you know, just go to bed.
You know, Mike, I think if I can learn any one big thing in my life, it's like I'm so back and forth on what's optimal versus best for you.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, man, that time is so protected. It's the first thing you're doing in the morning. No one's hitting you up, right? You're right, man.
Yep.
It's like your one time to really be selfish.
Yeah.
And I think for you and me, it lets us be the most consistent.
Yeah. And then it the day is better because you got it done, and you don't have to, a good friend, she's a night person, and it's like, oh, I'll try to get it in, and well, try to get it in doesn't work, right? Versus, I know this is what I'm doing, and this is when I'm doing it, and I've had to learn to go to bed, but it's not hard now. I mean, it's easier. My kids are essentially grown and gone. One is actually gone. The other's essentially gone. And so that's not, I mean, this would have been a lot harder 5 years ago when the kids were at home and evening stuff and, driving things.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just, it sounds awful, but, sitting on the couch on your phone while the TV's on in the background, it's time together, but it's not great time. And I'd rather just go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's something to stay up for,
Sure.
I mean, I'm an ER doc, I can stay up. But yeah, just
quality over quantity.
yeah.
Right.
So, and then it's it's just what I do. It's
show
not
up.
negotiable.
Yeah. Show up.
Every day, 6 days, and then Sundays is lunges and whatever else I want to do, and then other stuff on top of that. Playing a volleyball league when I'm not working,
Golf,
and golf when I can, and yeah.
Wow.
I remember at one point you said, I was more active than most of your 20-year-old clients.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, listen, Mike, I think selfishly, kind of one of the cool things about training is like, man, I have goals of being a dad someday, husband, and all these things. And it, I obviously love working out. It's always going to be a top priority in my life. And I think seeing you be able to manage it all, like, gives me hope and should inspire other people's too. Like, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
And I know, like, all right, I'm going to be able to make this part of my life forever because other people like you are prioritizing it.
Yeah,
right?
and it doesn't have to be, 90 minutes plus we'll say 20 minutes for lunges by
Sure,
the time you get your
almost
stuff
2
on
hours.
and change. Yeah, I mean, it's 2
You
hours.
commit
Like,
almost 2 hours, at least
well,
in the last
in the
24
last
weeks.
the last couple of months, it's 2.5 to. I mean, from when I
A lot of steady state cardio.
yeah, the walking.
I mean, Mike walked miles and miles.
yeah, me and our puppy.
Yeah, Marshall.
Which, thankfully it was spring.
Yes.
Which I think I'm going to miss that extra listening time. I didn't listen to music. I listened to more stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
And we'll have to figure out what that ratio is.
Sure.
Especially while the weather's nice, because Toledo's got amazing metro parks. Took a, hour long.
Really does. My
long,
whole mom's side's from up
yeah.
there. We love it.
And I was at Sidecut yesterday. That's
Yeah.
where I usually, it's only a couple minutes from the house. And yeah, it doesn't have to be 90 minutes. I mean, when I go on trips, you give me, I don't know, 45-minute, get a pump,
Dumbbell
feel good.
pump workouts. Yeah.
Yeah, and at a hotel gym, whatever you can do, unless I'm in the one gym in DC that has a squat rack.
Just something, man.
Yeah, and people, like last year in the fall in San Francisco at our annual meeting, like, why are you working out twice a day? It's like, well, this is what it takes to get it in. I got a powerlifting meet. I don't have 2.5 hours in the morning. So I would do my lunges and some basic stuff in the morning,
committed.
and then go to the
Love
conference.
it.
Go to the conference all day, get back, deal with the people in the gym at 5 o'clock, get out of my way, right?
Yeah,
I actually
you miss
have
your garage gym.
yeah,
man.
no, like I want to make a sign. If you see somebody that travels with West Side minivans, get out of their way. Get off the bench.
You're like, I'm here. I'm fucking serious.
That's right. If you
Just
see
get off
red
your phone.
minivans at a hotel gym or somebody with a hip circle,
Mike would be like, "Oh my God, Zach, this
Get out of
guy's
the way.
on his
When I did,
guy's
brother,
on
I-
his phone.
I text
I'm
you-
gonna kill him."
I texted you the one guy that was like, yeah, it was his Smith machine, but he was doing 455 for reps. I'm like, dude's getting after it.
Yeah, you're like, all right.
I leave him alone afterwards. Said, nice work. He's like, thank you. And that's
Yeah.
it. That's all that needs to be
Respect
said.
given.
Yeah,
I like
but
it.
I have no problem saying you're not using that. Get off of it
Yeah.
while
Yeah,
you sit there
I
on your
love it.
phone.
Listen, man, I think when you got shit to do, that's fine, right?
I got 45 minutes. I got dinner reservations. I got to go.
That's fine.
Right, and get it in. And people are like, I can't believe every day you're getting up and doing that. I'm like, and I don't post it to say, look at me. Like you said, it's you can actually do this, right?
You can show
Get
this.
up 20
Yeah,
minutes earlier, roll
all
out of
it is,
bed.
Mike.
Lunges are slow as hell, up and down the hallway in the hotel,
But you're doing
and
it.
go to conference all day, and run meetings. I don't just sit there. Like I'm involved, and then get back to the hotel, change, and then dinner's at 7, and then hopefully in bed by 9.
Non-negotiables. Yeah.
And then do it again the next day. And, you kind of, versus how I used to go to conferences, it's like I don't have a drinking problem except twice a year at conference. I can still enjoy myself, even with dates on the calendar, like we kind of plan for that. And
What is it if you can't enjoy life, right?
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. About this time tomorrow, we're gonna be having a good time. So.
Yeah.
Are you going to the concert now?
No, I'm not
Okay,
going.
okay,
No, I got other plans.
Buckeye-
I thought about it. Yeah,
Buckeye
Country
Country
Fest.
Superfest is this
Yeah.
weekend here in Columbus.
There's also a chance I may just go back to the room and sleep.
Mike, I'll tell you
wake up
what.
on
So my
Sunday.
first bodybuilding show, I was still in college. I remember this. I won the teen division, and I was like pretty pumped. I was 19. Maybe I was like just turned 20, but I was like when I registered, maybe I was still 19. But so there's drinking in this fall. In this
Uh-oh.
story, just so people know. I came back to my apartment. I lived with T. Frank, my buddy from high school. I was going to Capitol, and so pumped up. I had my tan on. I was like trying to get it off because I was trying to go out. It was
Yeah.
like I don't know, October-ish maybe, and had one Heineken. Fell asleep. 9
Yeah.
p.m. I was done. You're tired, man. It's people. If you've ever been to a bodybuilding show, I wouldn't say it's any more taxing than a powerlifting meet, but you're posing for so long. I mean, if you're constricting, bracing, squeezing, this is taxing.
And we
And it's
think,
depleted.
We still don't know. I think I'm posing 3 times tomorrow.
Mike's in
Once-
3
once
divisions.
for each
It's
division.
going to be. We'll see
Maybe
what.
we'll get a schedule.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
we
find-
got it while
we'll
we were
find
chatting.
out. We'll find
Maybe
out.
we'll find out tomorrow morning. I don't know.
I guess we'll end on that. Just pondering and wondering
Yeah, I guess
where
we'll have to do
where
a
you'll
part
be
2.
at. So
How the
yeah, we'll
show
do
go.
a follow up and obviously talk a little bit about Mike's results. And I know this won't be the last time you're seeing him. He has some big goals, hopefully. Moving forward, we'll talk about after this, but definitely going to enjoy this celebration. Right, the work's done. Mike's getting on stage to celebrate.
That's right.
Get a little posing down. I'm definitely going to share out, hopefully, his individual posing routine. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, hopefully it all works out.
We'll leave. Yeah, we
got
want
some
no,
non-traditional music.
Yeah, let's not surprise because
No.
I think this is going to be awesome. So
At this point, though, I have no faith that it's actually going to work. But hey, I've
see.
got a 30-second clip from.
Yeah.
It's from a movie soundtrack. I'll leave you with that.
I'll record it.
Yeah,
we'll make
that's
it
fine.
happen.
It'll be good. I gotta put that on a thumb drive for tonight.
Yeah.
Do the kids even know what a thumb drive is anymore?
Probably not.
No.
I do. I actually found a USB earlier, and I was like looking for a port to my Mac because like no one even has USBs anymore.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta have the
But-
right dongle.
It's everything. So, well, I appreciate Mike being on.
Thank you,
I think
Thanks for having me.
this is kind of a cool opportunity going into our almost 2 years training
Yeah,
together.
it's crazy.
You know, I don't think I thought we were going to do a bodybuilding show. You know, at the end of the day, I think this is such an awesome challenge. It's definitely outside of your comfort zone. Someone who
bit.
trains on their own in their garage,
Yes.
right? So I'm proud of Mike regardless of how tomorrow
Aw.
goes. So, you know, we'll showcase him off and, you know, show off a lot of his accomplishments. But, you know, seriously, if you're sitting out here and, you know, maybe you're someone in similar to Mike's position and wondering if you can do it, just focus on being consistent. The consistency builds, right? We kind of get into this momentum, right? And, you know,
Yep.
2 years later, look what we're doing. So,
Yeah, it sets some goals, and you know what they can be big, hairy, audacious goals, or just it doesn't have it doesn't have to there doesn't have to be a date on the calendar. Just I want to be better, right? Beat yesterday, right?
get a little better.
Right,
That's all
you
we're
know,
trying to do,
and,
man.
You know, there's nothing. I was not a gifted athlete. I'm still not, but like Corey and Zach both say all the time, right? I just don't miss. And,
Show up.
you know, listen to your James Clear Atomic Habits, right? We've all seen the curve of 1% better, 1% worse. Like it goes like this.
Yep, it's
You know,
true.
that after 365 days, what's 1% better?
Compounds.
And just show up, right? And maybe 6 days a week, 90 minutes training plus conditioning is not for you. But I promise whatever you need or whatever you think you might want, Zach can do for you, right? I'm one of your
shout out. All
yeah.
right. All
Well,
right.
I mean, you gotta rep
I
the man.
appreciate it.
No,
Yeah,
I
man.
can do this
you know,
all day.
everyone know. Listen, I appreciate that. But you know, Mike, I'm just so thankful that you're my client. I mean,
Thank you.
honestly, like I feel like I've become a better coach because of you. You know, Mike's very honest and gives me a lot of great feedback. And I think any coach should be open to listening to their clients because once again, at the end of the day, you know your body best. So,
Right.
you know, I'm excited to see how tomorrow goes. You need to go get to your spray tan, so we're gonna finish this
Yeah,
out.
we gotta go past my polygraph.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
which
yeah.
I'm not worried about.
And then
spray tan and
spray tan and
a little Chipotle, and
yep, that's
then
the
I'm just gonna chill in my room and go to bed.
yep, that's
That's
the
the plan.
All right.
And then early. I mean, really. I mean, I get to sleep in tomorrow. I don't have to be there till 8.
I know you'll be up early.
I'll be up at like 5.
He's gonna come park at my place, and we're gonna
Yeah,
walk to the
head
convention
over.
center. So,
All
all
right.
right. Well, we'll share out the results after this. This will be up the week after Mike competes.
Oh
the first
yeah,
week
so
of June.
they'll see the results
So
before
we'll-
they hear the story.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
all right.
This will be good. All right. Well, thank you. Happy Accountability Friday. Hopefully,
Have a great weekend. Happy Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Yes.
Hope you had a good Memorial Day, safe one.
Yeah.
Be safe.
This will be after. All right.
All right,
Thank you.
see you, everybody.